What'd you think of Zay's couple touchdowns tonight?
It was awesome. You know, we need a lot more. If anything, you know, I've been waiting on him to score multiple times in the game, you know, but having that last one with the run, that was a nice run.
Did you see his touchdown celebrations at all?
The first one was horrible. I told him I didn't know I didn't know what was going on, so I was just standing there like, all right, come along with it. Yeah, when I seen what happened, I was like, yeah, that was fast. I told him, my fault. But I told him that, I'm like, that was the worst celebration I ever seen. But, you know, he scored, so I'm good. I was still happy.
Lamar Jackson talking Zay Flowers touchdowns and celebrations. Zay Flowers had a couple of them last night. I guess his first NFL touchdowns not in Europe. I mean, which is odd. Wouldn't he have had more this year?
You're
but
right.
He had that big, like, they got so many guys to feed, and he flashed at times.
Yeah,
but
he has his moments.
Really
he got in the end zone.
He hasn't really been
what
maybe they thought he was going to be. But the offense is what the Ravens thought it was going to be. And we saw it last night when they needed to do it. It was a little sluggish at times.
Definitely.
It felt like it was going to be a little F around and find out with the Chargers. Let him hang around.
They were dangling it out there, weren't they? Like, hey, here, come steal the game. We're going to keep messing it up. You want to steal it? You want to steal it? Right? It was an underwhelming performance by Baltimore, who we've seen at their best. We go, damn, is there a team better than them at football? You know, this is the difference between them and the Eagles, though. You know, the Eagles, they have a bottom baseline that they never go below, where we've seen like teams like the Ravens and the 49ers drop below that baseline to go, man, they're bad, can cause them to lose some games they shouldn't lose, right? Last night, that was there to be had by the Chargers. Now, the Chargers, what was it really what we want to say? The Chargers chargered, as usual.
And they always find a way. You can count on that.
Right.
You can count on it.
And last night, I'm not going to blame it on the coaches. The coaches, I thought the game plan was good from everything I saw, and we got a ton of angles here at NBC Sports and everything. Like, defensive game plan was good. Lamar in the pass game never got going. The first half, they stopped the run. The Ravens, to me, were a little impatient, and I think came out with a part of the game where, like, the Chargers don't stop the pass. We're going to put an air show on in the game, you know, and that's where I think they messed up to begin with. But, you know, the game plan altogether by the Chargers, that game was there to be had last night. Brandon Staley, I'm not going to blame him. He put his guys in position to win that game last night. Justin Herbert, interception, you know, the strip sack by the Ravens when the Chargers were down there inside the red zone, right? The Keenan Allen fumble, the Austin Eckler fumble. The players let the Chargers down last night, and the Ravens defense, of course, making those plays, bailed out the Ravens altogether to help them win the football game on a night where, the offense was certainly underwhelming.
Yeah, the defense really did step up, and the defense has been great all year long. They have great balance. When they're firing on all cylinders, they're going to blow you out. This is a team that can be imbalanced from time to time and have to ride one side of the ball or the other and still get the win. That's what happened. Let's hear from Lamar Jackson after the game on the performance of the Ravens defense last night against the Chargers.
It meant a lot, you know, because our defense was playing lights out all night, and we wasn't, you know, doing what we usually do, putting points on the board for those guys, but I'm grateful we have a great defense, you know, because without them, we know how this game would have went.
The Ravens are in a great spot because they haven't played much lately. They had that game last Thursday night, then tonight, then they have their bye. But Rams, which will not be easy as the Rams are trying to get to the playoffs, at the Jaguars, at the 49ers, Dolphins, and then the Steelers.
They can't do what they did last night and beat those games.
Yeah, you're right. That one seed is going to disappear. I still think when it's all said and done, the Chiefs are going to end up with the one seed in the AFC because that's just what they do, right? They haven't played a road game in the postseason during the entirety of Patrick Mahomes' career as the starter. This is just what they do. And when you look at that schedule, it's going to be hard for the Ravens to stay at the very top of the conference through the next 5 weeks.
Well, if they do, you know, they'll have earned it, and we'll go. They're clearly the number one seed with the teams they beat here down the stretch to secure that spot and do whatever they got to do to get it done. You know, they got a lot of things about their football team that we love. We know that. You know, but they've had these little, you know, valleys they sneak into every now and then during the year where you just go, wait, you're too good. And, you know, you're too balanced, like you said, throughout your roster to be here in a game where it feels like the Chargers are outplaying you, or, you know, if they make one big play, you guys are in deep trouble. And I think that was the disappointing thing for me last night watching the football game. But as the game went on, the defense making the plays, the turnovers, and I think the Ravens started to go, because I'm watching the game and we have those, the sky cam view in our room there. And then early on, they're coming out and throwing the football, and Devin McCourty and I are sitting there going, the Chargers are playing coverage every play. They were playing pass defense, and it took a while for Baltimore, I think, to kind of go, we gotta zig when we gotta zag every now and then. Let's run the football and start to impose our physicality. They did that. That helped them control the game. But damn, offense was not great last night, and the Chargers did a lot of good things there, but they just find ways to mess the game up one way or another on a week-in, week-out basis. And here they are, 4-7. With that team and that quarterback, I think it's kind of inevitable what we think is going to happen here at the end of the season with the Chargers.
And, the Ravens, the narrative this year and last year, blowing it in the fourth quarter. They tried to leave the door open for the Chargers to steal one last night, but the Chargers weren't able to do it. And you're right, 4-7 with Justin Herbert, who's got market value contract, was the highest paid player for a couple of weeks until Joe Burrow leapfrogged him. And then I think Patrick Mahomes, depending upon how you break down the contract, passed them all. Here's Brandon Staley, embattled coach of the LA Chargers, on their playoff hopes after last night's loss.
Our focus is on beating New England. That's where our focus needs to be. The AFC is wide open. It will be to the end like it has been. So the only way that we're going to have a shot is if we beat New England, and that's where our focus needs to go right now.
Look, I don't disagree with not having a shot unless you beat New England, but even if you beat New England, how much of a shot do you really have? Broncos twice. They have the Raiders on the road. They play the Bills. Finish with the Chiefs. It's not going to be easy. And, hey, look, somebody out there is going to get hot and run the table.
Right.
And we're going to say, man, they're ready. They're ready. They're in postseason form because they've won 5-6 in a row. So could it happen? Yes. But what has happened so far this season? For a team that's won 4 out of 11, what's happened to make us think they're going to win 5 out of 6 when they won 4 out of 11? Because it's always something with the Chargers. They find a way to shoot themselves in the foot. What magically is going to occur between this week and next week? Because I could see them losing to the Patriots. I could see them doing something dumb and the Patriots taking advantage of it. And even after that, that's when they get into the tougher portion of the schedule where the Broncos are there twice and the Raiders aren't going to let them off the hook easily. No. And the Bills are going to be in it. And the Chiefs, unless the Chiefs have clinched the 1 seed and go with,
don't play.
With, Blaine Gabbert, then that one's going to be a tough one as well.
Yeah, I hear you there. Nothing's going to be easy for the Chargers. I mean, it doesn't matter who it is. I mean, I'd like to think they can beat the Patriots, but the Chargers are always scary when you make bold proclamations like that. They're certainly more talented than the Patriots. We know that. But, when you look at the rest of their schedule, I certainly don't sit here and go, oh, man, they're certainly better than that team, No, with that defense and then the offense with lack of big-time firepower on that side of the ball, it's hard for me to see a way in which they, wiggle into the AFC playoff picture.
There was a moment fairly early in the game where Justin Herbert was down near the end zone. First drive of the game.
Yeah.
Running toward pay dirt.
Right.
Went out of bounds and got blown up, sir, by Geno Stone.
Oh, yes.
And the flag wasn't there. And look, this has been one of the things the NFL has, for years, they'll tell us when we'd meet with them back in, before the season, well, we're going to treat the quarterback who runs like a running back and, we're not going to flag it when he gets hit close. But that one is so far out of bounds that, because usually my litmus test is, they wouldn't have thrown that flag if it was a running back who got hit that way. They did throw that flag when a quarterback got hit that way. That hit last night.
I think they call that on just about anybody.
Gets that call.
I agreed. That was odd. That one is one where I like to file under, what we talked about with Josh Allen a little earlier in the show. Hey, he's big, he's strong, he
can take it. He's the Cam Newton rule.
He's RoboCop. Nothing can hurt him, so it's no big deal, right? But that to me, in the age of protecting quarterbacks, that was about as blatant as it gets. And I know the NFL made some comments on it, but his foot was out of bounds. It was touching the ground a yard and a half out of bounds at least, and then Geno Stone made contact there. And, yeah, that was a big moment because that would have gave them first down, and maybe they scored a touchdown. Instead, they settled for a field goal in that drive, right, if memory serves me correct?
Yes.
And they just come away with 3-0 and, a little less momentum than they could have had.
Well, they drew a personal foul for the reaction,
that's
afterwards
right.
to
I
defend
forgot.
Justin
Yeah,
Herbert.
that's
It made it
right.
third and really long. Here's the pool report. See, they don't make officials available as a matter of course after every game. They should be.
Yeah.
They should be as accountable as the players to have to explain why they did what they did. Under certain circumstances, there'll be a request for a pool report where one reporter and one reporter only gets to question the referee or Walt Anderson or whoever is deemed to be the right person to talk to. So Alan Eck, the referee, said the ruling on the field was that the quarterback was trying to gain yardage. While he was still in bounds, the defender committed to the tackle. And as the quarterback's foot landed out of bounds, the defender made contact. So since the defender already committed to the tackle while the quarterback was in bounds, it was deemed a legal hit. Okay, fine. And that addresses the okey-doke maneuver we've seen from quarterbacks where they'll get close to the sideline and then they'll act like they're pulling up and the defensive player pulls up and they zoom forward for another 5 or 10 yards. But still, when the contact comes that far out of bounds, like if you're lining the guy up for the tackle and the point you're estimating, you need a protractor or but you know where you're going to encounter it.
Yeah, right.
If it's clearly out of bounds, it doesn't matter that you've committed to making the hit when you've committed to making a hit out of bounds.
Yeah, now that was one where the body language, everything showed you. There was no wiggle room for him to go up the sideline for a few extra yards, right? I think that's one where we hear the NFL and the rules committee and people from the NFL teach us every year where they'd go, the players have shown their ability to react in those moments and not do stuff like that. It's very real, and they've adjusted in a lot of areas like that throughout football, and that was one that you felt like was pretty easy. The Ravens got away with one, and I understand the Chargers O-line being pissed off, and they just, getting the retaliation penalty there was a big deal.
If they can expect the defensive back to avoid hitting a defenseless receiver,
flying
in the
over
helmet,
the middle,
when he drops his helmet
or
into
doing
the
that
target
too.
zone at the
Right.
last second, they can expect Geno Stone to not hit Justin Herbert clearly out of bounds. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.